Hello everyone. Good evening. This is Urvashi Singla, and today is day three for your placement bootcamp. So we are just waiting for everyone to join, and those who want to interact with me live, you guys can connect with me on Zoom. So you have this option of joining the same instead of like you can of course connect through YouTube live, but you also have option to connect with me on Zoom. So you will get the Zoom link in the description. So quickly join the session. We all are waiting for you. So we'll just wait for a few minutes before we start the day three of the placement bootcamp. Okay, so we can see the students are joining through Zoom. So all those who have joined me through live, you all can also connect through Zoom. You will get the link in the description. Till the time everyone is joining through Zoom, okay? So if you guys have any question prior to previous last 2 days session, feel free to ask me any doubts. Hi, Shraddha, good evening. Hi, Catherine, good evening. The team will just wait for another 2, 3 minutes for all the students to join. Again, I'm repeating, those who have joined through YouTube live, you guys can also join through Zoom link where you can actually have the option to unmute and speak with me and clarify all your doubts related to placement, whether technical, non-technical, or HR, any sort of question. So the link to Zoom, you'll get it in the description box of the today's session. Catherine, yes. So, team, today, in the end of the session, I'll be sharing one bonus links. Those bonus links will include uh, uh, proper like popular website from where you can practice aptitude, from where you can actually practice technical questions. So I'll be sharing that. No worries. I'll be sharing that, but in the end of today's session. So we are just waiting for all the students to join. And you guys will get certificates as well today. I'll guide you guys for that as well. All right. Okay. So we have another question. Can you tell me response? Okay. Growth with, I'm not sure, what exactly your name is. But obviously, if you're applying for a job into UI, UX, assuming you are into web development, or you must be aware about basic tech stack. So I would suggest you start like kind of do self-assessment for your resume. Check your GitHub. Like I'm assuming you must be having a portfolio website. So growth with if you have seen my yesterday session, you must have seen I've showed how you can set up GitHub, how you can use GitHub for free, and you can actually showcase your development skills there. Okay. So I would suggest you to go through that session as well. You'll get it on the Let's Upgrade uh, live sessions. Secondly, if you're not getting response, it's important to understand. Of course, so there are stages. So in the very first day, right, day before yesterday, I discussed this part. First step is your shortlisting of resume. So if you feel like your resume is not getting shortlisted, so that is what you need to work for. Secondly, I even discussed about tailored resumes, right? Where you have to change your resume, makes a few changes according to whatever the position you're applying. Change keywords according to that. Okay. So you need to focus. It's a continuous process. Okay. Exactly. Tanushri, there is not a dedicated website where you will get internship, but there are companies out there. So what you can do here is you can do some market research. You select one city. Let's say you selected Bangalore, you selected Mumbai. So you select one city, okay? Once you select one city, you can get the list of the companies where which provides the internships firstly. Okay. And full stack, like you will go to any company, any IT service company or IT product company, right? Web development, full stack development will be a part of it, right? Because every business need uh, websites. Every business needs online presence, and that is what these websites are providing. Okay, I'll take a very basic example here. For example, if even if you guys want to, let's say you want to even buy some course online, or even if you want to check like if you want to buy any product also online, right? So first thing that you all see here is the website. Okay, we always look for website. Let's say if I want to buy something online, I'll be looking for the website. Okay. If I want to check or get the trust, like this company really exists. Okay. That is where you first thing you guys will check is the website available or not. Okay. So even if it's a small business, local business, website is a must. Okay. So that is how you can target. Okay. How we see internship. So I think your question must be how we can seek internship or something like that. Again, the same process, do some market research, uh, target one city, get the list of popular company. You will see it's very easy. Google top IT service company, top product based company in Pune. You'll get a list. You will get, so once you get the list, I told you now how to grow your network on LinkedIn, very first year session. So go to LinkedIn, copy the company name and write talent acquisition. Copy the company name, write HR. Copy the company name and write recruiter. That's it. And start connecting with them and just ask them, do they have any open position for a full stack developer? I mean, that is something you need to do. It's all free, right? The only cost that is there is your time. Okay. Anyways, like this is what you want. So this is something which is on priority, right? So there is no point of not following this process. It's free, and definitely even if you just imagine if you are looking for, let's say you got a list of 20 companies and you're searching for 20 companies talent acquisition and you're adding those type of people at it, definitely you'll get reply from someone. Okay, that is how you can target. All right. So let's start. Let me share my screen. Okay. So I'll take rest of the doubts in a bit. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Quickly tell me, is my screen visible? I hope my screen is visible to all. Okay. So this is the main area of discussion today. Okay, but no worries. Today's main area of discussion is non-tech. Like even if you're someone coming from non-tech, tech, any sort of background, I think from past 2 days we have discussed a lot of mixed designations, and I have tried my best to keep the session generic for everyone. Okay, so this in the same pattern. Today's session is just for talking about basic things, what happens during, what should be the mindset during interview, before interview, how to build effective communication, then how to participate, like what are the general topic asked in group discussions, and some final tip for placement success. Okay, so this is a generic, no, nothing technical. So even if you come from non-tech background, it's absolutely going to help you. Second thing is that if you guys still have any question related to technical part also, don't worry. Feel free to put it in the comment section or in the chat box. Okay. So you can ask me there as well. All right. So let's start. So team, first of all that comes is effective communication and public speaking. Okay. So when I say effective communication and public speaking means there are two things that comes here. One is your communication, like how you're able to communicate with the people. Okay. So here why I'm picking this point is that it will help you build your confidence as well. So whenever you're going for an interview, right? Let's say it could be a virtual interview also. Like right now I'm connected with you all online through Zoom, right? In the same way, in the exactly same way team, if you want to, let's say, connect or go for a walk-in interview, right? Where you are, let's say you came to know about a certain position in a company and there are walk-in interviews. Okay. So you have two type of communication, verbal and non-verbal. Okay. Verbal means where you are speaking through your words, okay, where you are trying to explain something from your words. For example, someone asks you, like, tell me about yourself. Okay, so how you are able to communicate in the best way, how you're able to interact with them in the best way would be that part, okay, verbally. Okay, for example, right now also, what am I doing? I am communicating with you all. The only thing is, you like today and yesterday you had option, but first day you didn't had option, right? You all connected through YouTube live only. And then after that, once you guys connected through YouTube live, then after then you guys were able to communicate. But even at first day, I think we all were able to communicate because I was speaking and you guys were kind of replying me through the chats. Okay, so that is what verbal means when you're communicating through words. Okay, when you're trying to speak something and you're trying to articulate whatever you have in your mind to the interviewer. Okay, or it could be anything, like to any person, not just interviewer, but general in our real time personal life as well. Okay, so let's say you are talking to someone, how in the best way you're able to communicate, how you're able to express yourself, like what you wanted to explain, is the other person able to understand that or not? Okay, I mean, a lot of time, even when we are working into corporates or ITs, right, this happens, a problem of blame game. Okay, that when you're trying to say something and the other person is getting it wrong due to uh, XYZ reasons. Okay, so these type of situations can come. Okay, that is where this communication part will help you. Okay, that you need to work on your verbal communication. And when I say communication, means you learn how to connect and articulate through words what you're really trying to explain, and you make sure that the other person is able to understand. It's not like in your words you made few statements and you answered or explained something, but you need to really take care of one thing, that is the other person able to understand me or not. Okay, that is also important. So that is what comes under verbal communication. Okay, so talking specific related to your interview. Okay, then you should be very well versed, so it's not like you're speaking through words. You first of all, you think about what you want to, or structuring in your mind, and then you kind of speak, right? So that is what you need to work on, a bit of structuring, okay, your answers. That is what you need to work here. Okay, you can't just go like blindly, like you just listen and you started answering. You need to take a pause, you need to articulate what the other person is trying to ask, and then you kind of answer. Okay, so that verbal communication is more about structuring. Keep it precise. Okay, keep it statement oriented. Like, for example, if I talk about interview perspective, whenever someone asks you any question, let's say, can you tell me how to make JavaScript asynchronous, right? So you will just say three things. Okay, let's say basically we use promises, or let's say someone asks you what are your strength or weakness. Okay, so what you will say? You will say two to three words. Okay, but instead of keeping it word oriented, keep it in statements. That would work the best. Okay, then always try to speak or answer something in form of statements. Okay. Now, this is a verbal, right? When you're speaking through your words. Next thing comes is non-verbal communication. Okay. Non-verbal communication is something you're doing through your eyes, through your face expressions, through your gestures. For example, right now I'm speaking. Okay. So of course, there's a verbal communication where I am speaking, and of course, you guys are replying through comments or chats. But obviously, I am right now, my camera is on, right? So you can actually articulate anything through my hand gestures, through my face expressions, through my eyes. Okay, that is non-verbal communication. Okay, so again, there are two aspects here. If you are into virtual interview here, okay, virtual means online, and walk-in interview. Okay, so here also you have two aspects. Of course, if you are into virtual interviews team, your camera should be on. Okay, always remember it should be on. Okay, so when I say camera should be on, because right now my camera is also on, right? So you guys are able, my camera is on, you guys are able to interact with me better. Okay, you're able to understand who is teaching us. There's more trust building happening there. Okay. And of course, when we especially talk about interview perspective, if obviously if your camera is off, right, you might the interviewer might feel you are not like it's not even allowed to give interview without camera off. Okay. So that is one thing. Like, of course, there are benefits in virtual in a way that a lot of things are hidden, like you just camera is on and you're just speaking, so you really don't have that too much anxiety in virtual. I'll speak in that perspective, because you are really not sitting, the other person is physically not present in front of you, right? Like on the other hand, like in the conventional way, where walk-in interviews happen, okay, in that what happens, the other person is sitting next to you, okay, right in front of you, and then that person is asking you. Now that person will not only focus on your verbal, like your words that you're speaking, that person is definitely going to uh, s- uh, create a perspective or create a decision through your eyes, through your face expression, through your gestures. Okay, like if you're nervous, the person will be able to see that. Even through virtual, the person would be able to guess that you have actually doing it on your own, or like if your camera is on or someone else is helping you. Okay. Or you're very anxious about, or you're very nervous in the interview. Okay, our experienced person will know through virtual as well. Okay. So you should not only focus on uh verbally what you're going to answer, but gestures as well. Okay, I'll take a very basic example, or it's like a bonus tip. Okay, whenever you guys give an interview, keep a smile on the face. Okay, this will handle the situation of anxiety, that even if you are anxious, even if you feel very low or you're very nervous, the interviewer will not feel like that. Okay, when you're connecting with the interviewer will feel like you're very confident. Just keep a smile, not don't laugh. Okay, just keep a decent smile on your face. That will also add a lot of value, because this problem of being nervous, okay, or anxious will help you a lot. Okay, that will help you a lot. Just keep a smile, decent smile on your face whenever you're giving interview, walk in or virtual. Okay. Now during this, I know it's not like you can't force yourself to smile. So what should be the mindset during that, or what should like the role play during that part? Okay, I'll be discussing in the next slide. But this is just one thing you can do. Now, what should be the mindset to like keep a smile even if you are nervous in your mind? We'll be discussing it in the next slide. Okay. And with like I'm explaining, if anyone have any question, okay, like yesterday and day before yesterday, I covered all your doubts through comments in chat, so feel free to put it in that. Okay. Now, after this, we have communication, where we discussed about verbal and non-verbal. Okay. Next thing we have is public speaking. Okay. In public speaking, of course, it's a domain where we are majorly talking about the part when you're speaking in front of, let's say, 100 people, you're speaking in front of 1,000 people. Okay, like when you, even if you have participated into any competition during your college also, right, or university, you must have if you have spoke in front of like 100 people, 1,000 people, right? So you must be aware of that. When you go for public speaking, the major issue that students or candidate faced is anxiety and nervousness. Okay. And same can happen in anyway. So communication is a part of it. Okay. So public speaking is something is one of the aspect of communication. Okay. Like communication is one of the skills you need in public speaking. Let's put it that way. Okay. So communication is one of the skills you need for public speaking, which includes further, like in public speaking, you should have good communication skills, not just verbally, like what you're explaining through words, but non-verbally as well. Okay, how you are using your hands, how hand gestures, the way you conduct yourself, the way you are, like, let's say you're not looking, like, even if you're connected virtually, you ideally shouldn't be looking here and there too much. Okay, that is what comes under this non-verbal. Okay. So here in public speaking, the major issue that everyone faces anxiety and nervous. Okay. So let's say right now, even if I take my example, right now I'm speaking in front of like thousands of people, right? There are a lot of people who is watching this live right now, and this is not something I'm doing from the very first day of my career. No, even I gradually worked on my communication skills. I gradually worked on my anxiety and nervousness, like, and not anxiety, but yes, nervousness, that which everyone have. Okay, and it's okay to be bit nervous. Like, I'm also a bit nervous, but once session starts, like today also, like at 6:30 when session starts, all nervousness just goes away. Okay, of course that comes because this is something I'm doing like regularly. But what I'm trying to explain here is that first day, if you feel like, I like, don't compare yourself with someone else. Like, you can't be like, the very first day I want to start speaking like the other person. Okay, because you really don't know other person's journey, right? So maybe that person have failed maybe 1,000 times or 100 times before actually reaching a level where that person is. Okay, so public speaking requires that you are very positive in a way that don't compare yourself with any other speaker. Okay, and to handle this anxiety and nervousness, right? So so how you can handle this is, okay, trying to figure out why you are facing feeling anxious, okay, or why you are nervous during interview also. Okay, public speaking, or let me generalize it to interview. So firstly, you need to figure out why you are nervous. Okay, so if I talk about interview perspective, what are the general reasons why students are uh, anxious, or why students feel uh, like I'm very nervous. Okay, so this is like like when I take interviews for the students, this is the common answer that everyone give, right? Like, I'm a bit nervous. Like we generally ask how are you, how you're feeling, right? So they say they are good, and then they say we are nervous. Okay. So first of all, you really don't have to mention that to the interviewer. Okay. Secondly, how you can figure out the problem, like, so first you need to understand why you feel nervous. Okay, so the best way to find out is, so of course you need to again take some pen paper, you take whiteboard and write like, why do you think you will uh, why do you feel nervous? Like, what do you think, like, you'll mess up? Let's put it that way. Okay. So you need to understand the reason why you are nervous. So you're nervous, basically you feel like you might mess up, or you might not able to clear the interview. Okay. This is the general mindset that everyone have before the interviews. Okay. Just tell me the chat box. Do you guys feel the same during the interview? What if I'm not able to crack the interview? This is the first thing that comes into mind. Even before giving an interview, or even before appearing for the interview, this is the one question that comes to mind, right? Like, what if I mess up my interview? What if I'm not able to crack the interview? Okay. So this is important, that before, during, and after, positive approach or positive mindset is very important. If you remember the very first day, the day before yesterday, I discussed about this positive attitude. Okay, that even if you reject, even if you're not able to answer something during an interview, keep a decent smile even in that case. Okay, and try to listen. So communication is not just about listening. It's more about speaking and listening both. Okay. So a lot of people, when I ask them what do you think about communication, they say you should be good at speaking English, English speaking, and I say no, that has nothing to do with English, first of all. Communication means that whatever you're able, like I mentioned earlier also, like whatever you're able to explain, is the other person able to understand? It could be through any way, it could be through your gestures, it could be through your verbal communication, it could be in any scenario. Okay. So this speaking communication means speaking and listening both. Okay. So always remember, like, why you need listening, right? For example, interviewer will ask you one question, what you need in that part, what you need at that time, what type of communication you need, listening skills. If your listening skills is not good, how will you understand the problem? How will you able to articulate what an interviewer has asked you? Okay, so communication is obviously both speaking and listening. People feel like communication is English speaking. No, even if you speak Malayalam, even if you speak Punjabi, even if you speak Haryani, it's okay. That's your one of the language you use to communicate with people. Okay, but Is it like, of course, English is, I would say everyone should know at least basic, formal, professional English. I'm not saying you should know very fancy words, no, but basic English you should know so that you can work into corporate world. Okay. But communication is two parts, speaking and listening. Because listening, if you lack in listening skills, right? That means you're not someone who listen to others in terms of what they're saying. You're not even trying to understand. You're just into your own dreamy world. Like, I understood, I'll articulate it through my way. Okay. So you can't go with that attitude, especially in interviews. So listening skills is listening to the other person, trying to understand their perspective, trying to articulate, and then taking action accordingly. Okay. And then comes the speaking. Like, once you have listened to the person, now comes the speaking part. Okay. So it's two parts over here. Now, coming back to this positive part, okay. So during an interview, it's important. Like, one of the most like, the reason I've seen people, students are nervous, that they're thinking too much about interview result before even the interview starts. Okay, and sometimes what happens when interview starts, sometimes interviewer asks you five, six very let's say very complex questions. Okay, but maybe they just want to set a level for the interview. Okay, maybe they'll ask let's say 5 questions they ask difficult. Okay, maybe next 20 questions they'll ask you easy. Okay, so they just want to test you on multiple parts. Okay, you might not even know on what part they are judging you. Okay, so it's important to figure out or find the reason that why you are nervous. That is extremely important. Like, for you need to find the reason. Generally, for interview, students have this: what if I'm not able to crack? Okay, this is the main reason. Okay. Secondly, what if I mess up my interview? What if I don't get placed? So don't stop thinking about it. The moment you stop thinking about it, now you will forget about the nervousness. Okay, basic nervousness everyone have. Even every day, let's say I took your this session for three consecutive 3 days, right? Even I was a bit nervous. Like, that basic tingling and nervousness has to be there. But once your interview starts, once your my session starts, it all goes away. That should has to be there. Okay. So during all this process, how you should be considering your all your interviews. Okay, that is just a discussion. Never consider interview like an interview. Okay, consider interview like a discussion. Okay, because just imagine when a company is looking for a position, a lot of money goes into hiring people. It's not a very free process that companies free and they are taking random interviews. No, a lot of process goes into that. So it's important to keep this thing in your mind, keep positive perspective, and always remember that team is always there to hire you, not fire you. Okay. So that is very important. This is one of the ways to handle it. Second way is always practice. Okay. So I don't do it now, but if I talk about when I started my career 6 7 years back, I used to practice my PPT. Let's say I want to present PPT in front of 100 people next day. Okay. So this tip will definitely help. I mean, it worked for me like magic. Now it's like I can just create a PPT in like 5 minutes. Okay, I create my own PPTs. I create PPTs in like 20 minutes and I can just go and speak. Okay. Because of course it comes with experience of learning. Of course, this is what I'm doing in my professional life as well. So that part was easy. But how you can practice is that before any presentation, before any interview, I mean interview, of course, in terms of technical, we can't expect, but HR you can practice for sure. Okay, how you can practice, I'll discuss in the next slide. But for example, you need to present something in front of people. So what you can really do here is just structure and the way you're going to present it to those people. Just go just in your own room. Okay, lock your room. If you want to record yourself in your camera, okay, you all have mobile phones. Just record yourself in the camera. You are your best critic. Okay, like, for example, if you want to practice, tell me about yourself. Okay, आप लोगों को like, you guys want to practice, tell me about yourself. Yesterday I discussed about this question, right? Tell me about yourself. You just want to practice this. Take your camera. Okay, if you're bit nervous in front camera, record from back camera. It's absolutely fine. Record 1 minute video. Okay, you guys can actually do this activity. This is a very interesting activity that I suggest to my students, that you record yourself for 1 minute and you try to see. You will end up realizing you use a lot of if, but, so you will realize you use these words a lot. Okay. And once once you start listening to yourself, and you will realize how many extra additional words you're using, and you can start working on, like, this will automatically add a lot of confidence in communication part. Okay. So even if you want to improve your English now, there are like you can only improve it by speaking. Okay. So I think one of you asked me how you can work on your English. So the best way to do that is speak to everyone in English. Okay. Maybe first 20 people you speak to, you might not even come up with the correct sentence. It's absolutely fine, because you have to start somewhere to reach somewhere, right? So this is exactly how I use. So this is my personal learning. Like when I started my career back then, so I whatever PPT I need to present it to anyone, I used to just do like 15, 20 minutes dry run. Okay. So this give you a lot of structure. I mean, there are a lot of people out there in big corporates, they still do it. Okay. So if you realize, sometimes you have a very what should I say, very specific time limit to do a particular thing. Okay. Like for example, our session is for 1.5 hours. So I structure it in my mind, like half an hour I'm going to spend on this, half an hour I'm going to spend on this, half an hour I'm going to spend on this. Okay. This is how I structured before in my beforehand in my mind. So that it's not like I'm just on the session and speaking. There's a lot of process that goes behind it. Okay. So that is another way to kill this anxiety and nervousness. It's better to be prepared. It's better to prepare yourself too much, that even if someone asks you, that you are not nervous before that. You just feel like it's just a discussion. First of all, you should always take interviews like a discussion. That's it. Where two people, three people, four people are sitting together and discussing about something. That's it. This is what we call as discussion. I don't even call interviews as interviews. It's a discussion. Okay. Where you are sharing your knowledge and the other person is placing you according to that. Okay. So you really don't have to take interview like interview. Second is practice whatever, like HR question, I would say. So like, tell me about yourself, right? So you can actually record yourself. It's like 1 minute activity, and record yourself. Okay. Firstly, you prepare, structure it well, prepare, and then speak. Then record the same, tell me about yourself after 15 days. Trust me, you will see a drastic change in your expressions, in your confidence, in your facial expression. There will be a difference in terms of like, first one time you will be nervous, next time, and so on. If you like record for like 3 to 4 times, it's pretty okay. 3 to 4 times you can record this 1 minute video every 15 days. Okay, trust me, you will automatically see a difference. Okay, you will automatically see a drastic change. Okay, not just in your communication, but it'll give you a lot of clarity. Okay, so it's better to be, either you prepare yourself that much that you're not even concerned if, like, anyone will ask you anything, right? It is basics here. It's very well. Okay, so these are the few techniques you can use to kill anxiety. Okay, uh, I hope this part is clear. Does anyone have question? Okay, so we have your question, and that everyone knows everything about. Yes. Shivswamy, that is what comes under, like, what if I'm not able to crack? Okay. Always remember one thing. Okay. I don't know, ideally I should be speaking about that right away or not. That whenever someone is taking an interview for you, right? Let's say any person who is taking an interview for you, always remember that person knows, of course, knows about something that they are asking you. That is for sure. Like, for example, if someone is asking you about some technical concept, let's say they'll ask you something related to Python or something related to JavaScript, and whatever question they are asking, obviously they know the answer to that. It's pretty obvious. The point here is you have to think it like it's just a discussion. Okay. You really don't have to consider like, oh, this is an interview, this person already knows everything. No, you might, you should always find it a very, what should I say, very clever way of answering back to the interview. Of course, you need a very clever approach there, that you ask interviews back about the questions, you ask interviews back about whatever they want to do, like something like try to involve the interview, like whenever special coding question is asked na, try to involve interview with you. Okay. And you might come up with something interesting that the interviewer might not know. Okay, but of course the subject they are asking, they obviously, I mean, especially the question they are asking, they are very well aware about that. Okay. But you don't have to think it like an interview. You should think like it's a discussion. Okay. And I'll give a tip here with the coding questions also. In coding questions, even if your approach is good, even if you're just trying out the question, even if you're going on the right path, maybe you're not able to come up with the correct solution. Still, they will hire you. They just want to see how much you're able to process, how much you're able to give as 100%, how much you're able to spend time on solving a problem. Okay, so so these are the few techniques. Like this 1 minute technique, I would suggest everyone to go back and do. Just record your 1 minute video through your camera. Tell me about yourself. And after 15 days, do the same thing. Trust me, you'll start seeing that change. And just tell me about yourself video will help you to understand a lot about communication. Okay. And I think English, how to improve English speaking, that a lot of people have asked. Uh, okay. So I would say no. Okay. Like how you can improve is like I mentioned, you can only like learn anything by doing it. Okay, practically. So you should be speaking when, like I mentioned, even if you speak to 20 people in English, your sentence is wrong. It's pretty okay. Okay. So that is one way you can start. Going online and reading about this. I've seen students taking, a literally English classes going for this past tense, all these, right? It's of no use. It's literally of no use. Okay. At this age, it's of no use. If you're in school, then it will help you. At this age, it won't help you, right? So it's better you start speaking in English. Start there are a lot of you on videos on YouTube. There are free tutorials you can go through. Okay, where you can improve your English. So they gives you proper tips like tutorial. Is there 20, 30 videos out there? So you can check out those videos. Okay. All right. Let's move to the next slide. Okay. Now, team, next thing that comes is this is called negotiation skills, right? Let's assume you are placed. Okay, let's assume you are placed, and the company is offering you some package. Let's say company is offering you 3.5 lakh package. Okay, and you're very confident that according to the market standard and the amount of skills you know, and let's say there's a person has 1 year experience as well. Let's say, okay, and the company is offering 3.5 lakh, and current package of the person is, let's say, 2.5 lakh. Let's put it that. Okay, so there's a person whose package is 2.5 lakh. The person has 1 year of experience. Now, company offering is this much. Okay, now company is offering 3.5 lakh. Okay, now let's say you feel this 3.5 lakh is come. So what you'll do? What you will, of course, don't want to get placed at that. And at the same time, what a lot of times what students or candidates, what they do is they see like, oh, companies were offering only 3.5 lakh. Let me leave the company. No, you should be negotiating with the company. Maybe company, if let's say your expected was 4 lakh. So why don't you try to negotiate, at least try to negotiate with the company. What if they agree with you? Okay. So, but how you can project? Let's say I mean, sometimes it happens the other way. Like sometimes a company offer you like 3 lakh and you're already earning 3 lakh. This can also happen, by the way. Okay. Because that is the budget of the company, but maybe you have too much to explore in the new company. That can also happen. Okay. So there also, so what you see is I'm already earning three, so they're also earning, giving me three. Okay. So what you should be doing is at least try. Maybe later they don't agree with you, or if you don't come to a common terms after negotiation, it's absolutely fine. But at least you should negotiate. You should be knowing. So as a fresher, you might feel like your for everyone the main concern is getting the job. Okay, so everyone's main concern is not that package is not too much, but foremost point here is like to get placement, okay, to get some job. That is the most important thing that everyone would want, majorly. initially. Okay. So I think as a fresher level, I won't say, but yes, as a fresher level, also you feel like you ace like the best skills in terms of like freshers. Okay. Of course, then also you can negotiate. But you should give. So what do you need to do while negotiating? So we call it as but now, okay? Best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Okay, so what we do here is we come up with, so what we do here is we actually provide pointers. Okay, so what like you can like we generally send it through mails. So we provide pointers like why you feel you deserve this package. So you need to give reason why you achieve or you deserve this much package. Okay. First of all, this. Okay. And negotiation is not confined to package. Sometimes people have working days from Friday, let's say Monday to Friday. Okay. And there is a person who feel like if companies change the timing or days from Tuesday to Saturday, then it will be more productive. Let's say, let's put it that way. So negotiation could be just not just on the money part, it could be on any part, it could be on any aspect. So main point is you should be negotiating on something. Okay. So let's say there's a person who is offered Monday to Friday work, and person feel like that, for example, in terms of edtech, if I talk about the edtech space, we prefer this slots. Okay. Because students are more active on Saturdays, Fridays, okay, and so I mean that's one of the reasons. So here, let's say the company offered this. Now you feel like this should be the ideal days for working. So come up in your mail, just write why. Again, the same thing. Just clearly mention why you deserve that. Just clearly mention why you feel Tuesday to Saturday will help you. In like 3 to 5 pointers. That's it. Okay. So let's say if someone is offering me a payout, let's take an example, payout, let's say for a month. So if I feel let's say someone is paying me, let's say 10 rupees, I'll take a hypothetical situation for a month. Okay. And I think I deserve 15. So what I'll do, I'll start negotiating for 15. Okay. Then what will happen? Company might not afford 15, but at least if they really feel I'm a best fit, then they will at least try to negotiate it at 30. At least they will. So companies will also push from here, and you also need to push from here. That push or negotiation is required from both sides. It's not like, you wanted a package of 3.5 lakhs, so you will get it. No, that is where negotiation will come. Okay, so that is where firstly you should be sending a formal mail why that thing to be done, why there is a need for that thing. Once you are very convinced, like why, send 3 to 5 pointers. Once you send those 3 to 5 pointers, right, then company will also try to push, and if they feel they are a perfect fit, definitely they will also push themselves. And if someone is offering you 10 rupees, let's say, and let's say you want 15, so at least you will settle at 30. So that's better than 10, less than 15, but better than 10. Okay, so that's we call it as negotiation skills. Okay, but no. So that is again very important. Okay, I'll give you guys a quick idea. You can actually use so if you want to send email and so if you have a very perfect answer why you should deserve that much package, or there's a specific point on which you want to mention, you want to negotiate, or you can actually use chat. So whenever a common pointer comes, like money or package wise or whatever experience, like on experience wise also you have negotiation. Like if I have 5 years of experience, so on designation also we have negotiations. Like if someone is 5 years experience, so if they are really good in this skill, they would prefer senior position, right? So negotiation can be on designations also, by the way. It is not just confined to this two things. It could be on your designation also. So that is where this part will help you. Okay. Pointers means points like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like points. Okay. For example, of course, let's say you're going to write a mail, right? So let's put it that way. So you're going to write some mail, right? To So you need to list some point, like point one, you have the amount of experience that you have, okay, and the clients you have worked with. or the company you work in currently, right? So you can actually, let's say you're from sales, so you can mention something like, I have done this X number of sales in X number of time, okay, which is better. So I thought you can mention you were the like some like you did some marketing and you got the best marketing campaigns for financial year, let's say for some company 2023. So what you are trying to do here is you are trying to come up with some pointers. So for example, if you want an increment in your package or like in terms of what companies offering you, okay. So you can clearly come up with your skills, so how you helped your current company with the growth. So your first pointer, like something related to growth, something related to your experience, you can mention. Okay, so you can create pointers around it. Okay, and of course, go ahead use. So once you have this basic pointers, go ahead use ChatGPT to get the perfect content for you. That's it. Okay. I hope I've answered your question, Catherine. Tanushri, see, yes, there is no rule like only big companies negotiate or small companies negotiate. There's no pointer like that. It's just that what they are offering you, and if you feel you don't, see if you're going with a company, let's say Amazon. So at that time, you might want to go for a smaller package, but you're getting the exposure of such a big company. So it's up to you, like how you want to go for. But if you say negotiate, of course every company you can negotiate with every company. Okay, there is no rule like you cannot negotiate with the big companies. It's not like that. You can negotiate with anyone. Okay, Shiv Swami, you were asking about how to kickstart reading other code as a habit expert. Okay, so you really don't have to go ahead and literally read someone's code. I would suggest rather work on debugging skills. Like if you're planning to become expert, just build your debugging skills instead of looking at someone else's code. Akshat, yes. So during that interview, you feel mixed. Some people's every person is different, right? Some people have this adrenaline rush, or they feel having a mixed feelings. Like they are excited also, they're happy also, they are nervous also, they are sad also. So sometimes people have so much of spike of this excitement in their mind that again the main point is you don't want to mess up your interview. Okay, so that is where you need to keep your nerves calm. Like it's very important that you keep yourself calm before interview. Like for example, before it says like if you're going for a public speaking on stage, that you should breathe three, like do deep breathing 3 times. Okay, so before any interview, just do deep breathing 3 times. If I talk about physical aspect of it, this is how you can help do. Okay, because it's all connected. Your body, you're getting excited for something, you're very sad for something. It's all connected at the end of the day, right? So you get deep breath. That will really help you before an interview. Okay, and once interview starts, you don't feel any negative. You don't think about what if I'm not able to. So during interview, no pointer should like this should be there. Okay, you just need to listen to the interview, and whatever is asked, you need to answer that. Okay, so that is one way you can handle that. Next is where can we build our portfolio website? So Surya, ideally when you talk about portfolio website, now never use. I would not suggest you any one of you to use any third party portfolio websites. You should be building your own portfolio website. At least portfolio website is something you should be developing from scratch, and it should be your own. Okay. Okay, next question we have is if interviewer is asked about project, how to answer. Definitely, I'll answer that part. So, project explanation is actually again about structuring. Okay, let's. So here, if you remember, I was talking about public speaking. So I was talking about something called structuring, or if you practice that thing beforehand, right, that will help you. For example, project explanation team. Okay. It's not related to negotiation. It's a different question, but I'll answer. It's a very good question, uh, that project explanation. This is a very common thing. Like probably if you are into any field or whatever projects you mention in your resume, interviewer is going to ask you related to that. So you should always structure it well. First point is structure. Okay. So if I'll take one example with a web development perspective. So you should spend 20 to 25 seconds. That's it. Explaining about project statement. Okay, so you spend 25 to 20, 25 seconds explaining project statement. And I would say you practice it beforehand. Okay. Second is you should be focusing on displaying or explaining UI. Okay, explaining your website. Now I'll take more examples. So when you're speaking about explaining website, you should be focusing on functionality part. So this is a sub point. Just focus on functionality. Like if you have sign up in your application, sign in your application, if you have search functionality, if you're getting the data from API, let's say you're doing working on e-commerce, so product data, product detail page. So you should be showing that. Okay, then you should be showing if you have any add to cart functionality, if you have add to wish list functionality in your website. Okay, and is your website responsive? That's interviewer is, if you talk about full stack project or front end project, interviewer is when it's come to project explanation, interviewer is only concerned with these things. Okay, if I talk about backend, of course they'll be concerned with APIs, how you build routes, how you're doing error handling. Okay, so those few more pointers would come, but this is, if I talk about web development world, this is how the project explanation is. Like you open your website library and you just show them this functionality. They're not concerned how you created card component or something like that. They are really not interested in that. Okay, so this is how you should be structuring. Keep 20, 25. Let's say you did some project related to sales. Let's take an example of sales also. Okay, where you did some project. So okay, here also you should structure. Okay, just spend same 20, 25 seconds. Okay, for explaining the project. And secondly, third, lastly, you should be explaining exactly what you did. And if I talk about sales, just keep it growth oriented. Okay, you should be mentioning what KPIs, key program key progress indicator. Okay, so that is what you should be focusing on in that very. Okay, all right. I hope I've answered your question. Let's go ahead with the next. Okay, I'll just quickly remove this. Okay. Now, team, while I was saying, right, you should consider interview like a discussion, and so how you should be handling it through role plays. Like if you want to practice it is these whatever I'm saying, like, keep a mindset of positive approach. You should not consider interview like an interview, keep a discussion. It's not like it's at the end of the day, it's your brain. It's not like I said this and you start following it tomorrow. If someone asks me to, you have to do this thing in a different way, of course it will be. Like for example, if someone asks me to tomorrow you have to speak in some different language, it's not easy for me to speak if that is not my lingual language. How will I speak? It's very practical way of looking at it. Okay, so how we can handle this, whatever I've explained in the last two slides, right? Like how you should be answering anything, how you should be keeping that mindset. So even to have that or reach there, you should do something called role play. Okay, so you pick any, you use chat GPT to the best. Okay, you get the scenarios. Okay, for example, I said you should consider interview like a discussion, right? So interview like discussion. Okay, so you can use chat gpt. Okay, I'm giving you guys these terminologies pointers. Use chat gpt how to keep a mindset to feel like an interview, like a interview like a discussion, and do some role play. It's important. You can actually do something like you become an interviewer in your mind and start behaving like that for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then think from their perspective. Okay, so this role playing will help you a lot. You really don't need anyone else to help you with that part. You can use it in your like anywhere in your life. Okay, so you can really keep a mindset here that you are the interviewer, you are the person. Like instead of really going into real time interviews, you actually do a mock with yourself. Okay, so this role playing is like one point you can do, like do some practical sessions. Easily you'll get the topics also from the chat GPT. Okay. Or ideally, I would say real time scenario should be taking like interview, like behaving like interview. Like that would be one. Okay. So these type of real time scenarios you can consider. Okay. And next is simulated exercises. For example, I told, record 1 minute video of telling me about yourself and do it for next every 15 days, do it for 3 to 4 times. You will automatically see a drastic change. Okay. So that is what you guys can really do during this time. Okay. All right. So this is a bit of role playing. So this is one of the simulated exercise I discussed. Okay. Next is a majorly is going to be your role play. Okay. Now, team, next up we have is we have these general group discussion topics. Okay, like these are the some common topics like these companies are following here, like in 2024 to 2025 placement trends. Okay, so I got these topics like impact of a social media on society. This is such a important question. Okay, people have FOMO, like take example of ourselves. If we are not using a phone for a day, we start like, people start feeling FOMO. And if you see, you're just like you will not realize you're spending 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours on Instagram. You're just scrolling. You're not even gaining anything out of it. So how is it impact? So this is my perspective of looking at it, right? So if I am sitting in a group discussion with someone, uh, with some professionals or with college students, everyone will have a different perspective. Someone who is Gen Z, they will have a totally different perspective. Someone who is coming from millennial generation, they will have a different perspective on social media. So that is what that is the idea of group discussion, where people are sitting together and discussing about something, okay, and giving their point of views, okay. And it should be in a way that you're not cutting out anyone, you're not interrupting anyone, you're polite. At the same time, you're able to put your points. Okay. So this is one of the, so this is how I see it. That you're spending 3 to 4 hours, you're just wasting your time in a way if you're not really doing anything productive and making money out of it. Otherwise, if you don't use it for your 24 hours, there are people out there who feel FOMO. All right. So that is how I see it. But maybe we have I'm right now connecting with so many people live that everyone will have their own perspective to it. Okay, that is exactly what we do in group discussion. Okay. Next, we have next could be future of work, like remote versus in office. So basically, what we really do in group discussion, I'll tell you main things. So we discuss about the pros and cons. That's it, majorly. First of all, so let's say if I'm having a discussion on social media, right? So there will be a person who will be in favor of it. There will be a person who will be against it. So there will be two things, pros and cons. So what happens when we're discussing about pros? Let's say there will be four pros someone talk about, and there will be four cons someone talk about. Okay, so this is how your communication starts in a group discussion. Okay, so one person will give you the topic, the head will give you the topic, and the rest of the students is just going to follow that. Okay, so one will mention pros, one will mention con, two people will mention pros, but let's say one will come with some cons. Okay, so it's not there's no defined sequence, but generally it's something around pros and cons. Okay. So that's the main idea there. Okay. Then education system, modern versus traditional. Okay. So that is nothing but you are so everyone again have, so no one want like like nowadays if we see people are talking about education system, especially Indian education system. So everyone have again a different perspective. Traditional is more like conventional way. Modern is more about smart schools, okay, where you have these projectors, people are using, students are started using this tab in stylus, right? So students are carrying laptops, students like school students are carrying laptops. So of course, when you talk about education system, there is no defined. You can pick college, you can simultaneously talk. Someone can talk about college, someone can talk about school, someone can make it generalized. Okay, whatever your perspective is. Okay. Then Android versus iOS, this is one of the topic I mentioned earlier also. Okay. So someone will talk about pros, someone will talk about cons, someone will try to defend, someone will be in the favor, and will give some extra pointers. Okay. Then mental health awareness. So nowadays, especially in today's time, okay. So mental health. So who is this person? I don't know. He's just spamming. Robert, if you're really here to listen, please don't raise your hand again and again. All right. So coming back to this team, this Android versus after this, we have mental health awareness in school, right? So, so again, everyone have their own perspective. So in this, but I'll say, like my perspective is someone who is into like our generation, like someone who is into their late 20s, someone who's in their initial 30s. Okay, so they understand these things better as compared to someone who come from like someone who's in 40s or 50s. Okay, mental health awareness. So some people say it should be there in college, some people say it's not at all required. So everyone have their own perspective. Okay, so what's your perspective? You should be talking about that. Okay, and this is such a popular question. That will chat GPT destroy jobs? Will artificial intelligence is it a threat or opportunity? If you guys have seen, Elon Musk have recently launched this robo humanoid where a robot will work like a human, right? If you guys have seen, I think last week only he kind of showed the prototype. So, I mean, not prototype, but like a model prototype where he was able to show a model. So there are so there will be people who would say it's pro, talk about pros of it, but then there are cons of it as well. Okay, so the point here is if I'm sitting with someone on this part or on this discussion, how I am looking at it or how I am. Okay, one second. Okay, so okay. So the point here is, team, like what my perspective will be, and what happens in GD. I'll give you a quick idea. So you might feel like, oh, I have 4 pointers to talk about how artificial intelligence is a threat of opportunity, and what happens sometimes you're in the favor, but as you see how conversation is going, your mindset changes it immediately. Okay, for example, Android versus iOS. You are someone who is iOS, you will always in the favor of iOS. But what happens in group discussion is sometimes you don't come up with the exact way of countering the other person, that you start getting into a agreement in with the person that yes, Android is the best. But then other person, let's say you say like yes, I also agree with you. But then other person would say, do you which mobile do you use, right? So let's say you say iOS. And then you're kind of stumped there, right? Like you are in the favor of Android, because I'll tell you, because this is all about mindset during GD and presence of mind. So there will be a lot of times, let's say a lot of people call it as opportunity. Like I also see it as opportunity. But when let's say if I'm sitting with someone in a group discussion, I'll be in the favor of opportunity always. But maybe when I talk about threat, I mean, in back of my mind, I know there's a threat for that. But maybe people out there will come up with such a great pointers of threats that even I might look at it in the approach of or mindset of threat. Okay, so sometimes this happen like during GD only, na, you actually 2 minutes before you were in favor, and 2 minutes after you were against it. Okay, so this happens. So it's very important that you stick to what are your point of views, and you should have exactly what you really like. You should have a perfect mindset or a perspective, like strong mind. You should be very strong headed, like whatever is your perspective, you stick to that and you give a relevant pointers to that. Okay. So that is how it should be. So these are general topic. You can just like I talked. I think for 3 4 I discussed my perspective, like my point of view. So of course my comment discussion will be around that. My pointers will be. So if I'm seeing AI as an opportunity, I'll have pointers according to that. So let's say, for example, while I was talking to you, I took an example of humanoid of Elon Musk. So I can also talk. I'll do it in this exactly same way in my discussions. Okay. And if someone says it's a threat, of course, let's say someone can say, I'll take a basic example, like someone can say, is it a threat as well? What if that person kills someone, and let's say you are owning that person, right? What if that person did something like crime or something like that? Okay, how you would be handling that part? Okay, so now since I'm in the favor of opportunity, so how I will defend this person would be if someone come up with this opinion. I'll just say government should be setting some guidelines, and should some restrictions on the robo humanoids that I mean something around it. So I'll try my best to defend it. But during that group discussion is generally like 20 minutes or half an hour, that's it. Okay, so during that time what happens is that sometimes uh, uh, you were in the favor of opportunity. By the end you will come in the favor of threat, but you really don't have to show it to the other person. Okay, you can't keep a discussion 15-20 minutes you were in favor of opportunity, last 10 minutes you deviated from it. Okay, so you can't do that. And you can't even interrupt anyone, like you can't say like you keep stopping in all speak. And everyone have to participate. You can't be like, if there are five people, five all have to speak. If you're not speaking in a GD, na, you're rejected, straight away rejected. Okay, so but or you can't even do something like, so you have to very much like have a presence of mind and kind of move. It's not that difficult, but of course, like I mentioned, role play will help you. Okay, so these are common topic. At least these were maybe something, or let's say if I talk about AI, Chat GPT, Open AI, maybe something around that could also be asked. Okay. Now, final tip for placement success would be time management. Okay, because let's say if you're someone who is planning to get placement, you need to have a clarity. First of all, if you're learning any programming language or practicing for it, you need to have a clear goals. Okay, create a schedule. Like you create a schedule 12 to 2 p.m. I'll read about this. Let's say 5 to 6 p.m. I'll keep a time for coding question. Okay. And if you're someone who is already working, so maybe you can keep a time like 8 to 10 p.m. Or 8 to 9 p.m. I'll do a strict coding version. Okay. And on weekends, let's say 12 to, let's say on weekends, 12 to 2 p.m. I'll 12 to 2 p.m. I'll read about interview questions. Okay, so that's your time. So everyone is doing a different job. So everyone have a different time set timeline. So it's better you align it. So but that's dual creation and following it is very important. Okay. Next is limit distraction. I always say this to students, even though if you're if you're someone who's too distracted, even that doesn't help. Like in Instagram and this Facebook have this limit set, right? If you guys have tried, you can set a limit like 5 minutes, 10 days, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes for a day. So why don't you put a 15 minutes distract limitation on the social media? Okay, so I think the most distracting one is Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp you use only when you do some chat or put a status. That's it. But I think Instagram and like Facebook are the most, because they have reels there and YouTube Shorts. They actually are the most distracting part. Okay, so this is a social media distraction that you have. Of course, distraction could be of many types. So social media is one of them, like scrolling through Instagram the whole day. So that is just a time wastage. And you have to be very practical when you're applying for the job. You are looking for a job. Like this goal, whatever goal you're going to set, that will help you. Okay. Whatever is a study room or study table, just write your goals there. Okay. Just whatever goals you have, just write it there so that you see it every day and you start preparing according to that. Okay. And reviewing and adjusting. For example, adjusting is very important. For example, right now it's Diwali, so you might not able to go for the schedule which you are already following. So you have to make some amendments to that. Okay. So this is how you can do time management. Second thing would be handling rejection and staying motivated. Like I said, it's very important that you have an optimistic mindset, even if you're able to answer anything not that. So you can put it that way. If you're not able to answer something in interview, right? So that is something you don't know about. So why don't, instead of thinking like, oh, what if interviewer has asked something else, or if you keep it like 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 I don't know about this topic, I'm not good enough or something like that. Why don't you keep a positive attitude and consider it like a feedback? Okay. For example, I had one of the students, right? He had a feedback of you having, like, you have good technical skills, but your listening skills is poor. And just because of the listening skills, that person got rejected. And he had really good coding assessment, coding, logic building, right? But still, that person got rejected because listening skills, like I mentioned. So if you are someone who feel like, oh, if I'm doing coding only, that is going to get me somewhere, no. Speaking skills, like communicating is very, I'm not saying you should know English only, no. You might speak in Hindi, you speak it in Marathi, you speak in your language. But you should be at least knowing about like how to answer. how you're able to, like, if you're not able to explain what you feel like, what you're thinking, and you're not able to understand what other person is thinking, it's of no use. Okay, so it's all come together. Like, it's not just about technical. If you want an IT job, you have to be technical. You have to be technically sound, right? So but you need to have this whatever communication pointers I've covered today. Okay, so during interview, always remember that there are so many companies out there. Okay, and you will definitely get an opportunity if you work, and whatever interview give you as a feedback, take it like a constructive feedback and work on it. Okay, and positive attitude before, after, during, it's supremely important. Okay, all right. Next up we have is continuous learning and skill development. This is very important point that, let's say there's a person called Elena. Okay, let's say she learned HTML, she learned CSS, she learned JavaScript, React also, and that's it. She stopped there. Okay, and she started working. And there's another person called Alex on the same end. That person also know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js. Okay. Uh, these are just tech stack name. Redux also. Okay. Plus, that person is continuous learning and looking at the like Next.js is popular now. So, like if you want to do server side rendering, so right, so you need to come up, or you come from any marketing, sales, any field. So you need to come up with those ideas. You need to come up with the perspective that you do continuous learning. Like, it's not like you did something and you stopped it later. You can't do that. You have to, like, if you want to be, especially if you want to be a part of IT, you have to be rigorously uh, uh like learning. It's very important. Okay, whatever domain you are into, just try your best to gain more skills as much as you can. Okay, and to gain those skills, let's say Alina want to learn Next.js, right? So she wants some resource. So there are a lot of websites who provide online resources, like YouTube is one of them, and there are companies out there like which provide you some resources and give you certification. For example, Let's Upgrade, right? Let's Upgrade provided you with this free 3-day boot camp. So in which you can ask your doubts, and you just need to connect and kind of ask whatever doubts you have, and you'll get a certificate. If you remember, very first day I told you whatever certificates you will get, right? You should mention it in your resume also, and you should mention it as a participation inside your LinkedIn also. Okay, of course that will, whatever, like if you tag Let's Upgrade, that will also help you to connect more, uh, connect with more people. Okay. So whatever latest trends is coming, any tech stack you're into, let's say you're into data analyst, civil, you have to be a part regular with it. Okay, it's not like you learn two, three things and you're done. Okay, for getting a job initially, yes, but if you want to go at the top level, you have to be continuously learning. Okay, and of course, look for online free resources. Look for companies, like you can do some certifications also, like Google, Microsoft offer good certifications. Okay, related to mostly all tech related fields, so you can try that out. Okay, all right. Now, team, this is the last part. I'm giving you guys some bonus questions. So these are the links. I'll be sharing this PPT with the team. Team will share it with you. So I've added this article for HR interview questions. This is for the technical. Okay. So what do you do when you go to these websites? Now they will give you a specific technical, like you want technical question in Java, you want it in Python, you want it in Java. So you'll get specific. Okay. Plus aptitude related question you can practice through this for now. Okay, so I've added these links. Even if you practice this much, okay, you will have something to start your journey. Okay, so these are the bonus from my end. So I'll share the PPT with the team. Team will share it with you today itself in the description box. So you get the link on the same placement material. Okay. And that's all from my side. If you guys have any questions, any feedback for me, I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay. Okay, so we have few questions. When do you think internship is going to start with this better? Catherine, yes, internships will help you. I would say you should be going with internships at big company, but I personally feel that internship part you can do, but for jobs start with a mid level and startup. You get to learn a lot. Okay, and guys, don't forget to apply or like fill your attendance uh, and then of like day one, day two, day three, and then you will be able to get the certificates. Okay. So if anyone have any question, please ask. I hope you guys enjoyed the sessions, the all 3 days. If anyone have any question, Ketan, yes, I'll share it with the team, and team will share it with you. Sarata, you can actually do this activity of telling me about yourself. I told you this when you see yourself and you are your best critic, try that activity. Trust me, it will help you. This activity is for everyone. Okay. Uttam, you can actually go through this link that team have. I think Anam have provided it with you. Okay. She will explain it better in detail about that. Anam, are you there? Okay, anyways, I think you can go through day one. This link also there she explained about ambassador program in detail, and there's a link also they have added. Okay. All right. I think we can wrap for the day. I don't see any other question. I think I've answered most of the questions. So guys, it was lovely interacting with you all. Okay. I hope you guys gained learned something from it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful career ahead. So thank you for connecting, and maybe we'll connect again in some another sessions. So okay, Himmat Singh have question. BBA student with 9 months experience as a counselor. Should I go for it? Yes, yes, you should go for it, Himmat Singh. Okay, I think we can wrap for the day. Thank you, team. Bye. Have a nice day tomorrow.